Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be sharing about this article from the International Literacy Association titled An Exploration of Text Difficulty and Knowledge Support on Adolescents' Comprehension. The purpose of the study was to see if there is any correlation between easy or challenging versions of text and the type of instructional support given, and if different combinations improved students' comprehension. According to a 2015 national assessment, 2/3 of U.S. 8th graders failed to score proficient in reading. This means high school teachers have incoming freshmen who cannot make and support inferences, connect parts of a text, or analyze text features. A common answer to this dilemma is providing students with easier texts that are just beyond their current level of ability. This rationale comes from Vygotsky's sociocultural perspective on learning, which he called the Zone of Proximal Development, or ZPD. New developments, however, show that teacher instructional support has a greater role in student comprehension than the text difficulty, especially for those with reading difficulties. Advocates of all students reading difficult texts feel that keeping students reading below grade level stunts their vocabulary and comprehension growth because easier versions are shorter, contain fewer difficult words and less detail, and students learn less content, which creates inequities among student groups. A student's general knowledge and comprehension abilities interact with every text they read and either support or hinder their comprehension. Concreteness of words and ideas refers to the student's ability to create a visual image. Another influence is the formality of language, or the more academic vocabulary compared to more conversational language. A final influence is text cohesion. This can be lexical, which is the repetition of words that allows the reader to connect ideas in between sentences, or grammatical, which includes causal, temporal, and logical features. To determine if easier texts are actually easier to comprehend, it is important to understand how easier is defined. Text difficulty has been determined by readability for decades, and a second-generation tool used is the Lexile framework. They both measure word frequency, word length, and sentence length to determine difficulty. Newer measurement tools assess more variables, including vocabulary familiarity, concreteness of words and ideas, formality of language, and text cohesion. There are still questions, though, about the validity of these measures of difficulty. Studies have shown that low readers experience improved accuracy and fluency by reading easier texts, but few studies have found that reading less complex text benefit comprehension. A study in 2002 actually found no differences in reading comprehension for poor comprehenders when reading low-level or grade-level texts with one-on-one support. Although students may read easier texts more quickly and accurately, fluency gains may not lead to greater improvements in comprehension proficiency than reading challenging texts with instructional support. The two instructional supports in this study were KWL and LRD. In KWL, teachers activate students' prior knowledge on a topic, which causes them to have more questions, and then after reading the text, students discuss what they learned. With LRD, the teacher builds the background knowledge for about half of the class period, then the students read the text to see what they understood, and finally, the teacher leads a discussion to help students develop an interpretation of the text. This chart summarizes the basics of this complicated study. Do easier or challenging texts affect comprehension growth depending on instructional support? And is there a difference in comprehension growth, specifically for weaker readers? The study involved 293 ninth grade students in 17 English classes taught by 4 classroom teachers and 1 special education teacher. The article greatly details the demographics, training for the teachers, methods of observation and testing, and the variables involved. The first question asked was, do adolescents demonstrate better text comprehension when reading easy versions of text compared with adolescents reading challenging versions of the same text with teacher support? Does this relation differ based on the type of support received? Does this relation depend on students' reading ability? The results showed that instructional method did not reveal a significant difference when reading the easy texts. The text level did not have a significant effect on quiz scores, but students in the LRD classes had an average quiz grade more than 7 points lower than the KWL classrooms. Below grade level and at above grade level students had similar quiz scores whether they read easy or challenging texts with the intervention. The second question asked was, do adolescents demonstrate greater growth in comprehension after reading easy or challenging versions of texts with teacher support over 12 weeks? Does this relation differ based on the type of support received? And does this relation depend on students' reading ability? Neither the text intervention nor the instructional method intervention had statistically significant results on post-test comprehension. Question 3 asked, how do newer text evaluation tools compare with traditional readability measures in capturing differences in text features between easy and challenging texts? According to Cometrics and Text Evaluator, the challenging versions contained fewer familiar words, but they did not confirm that the easy text contained more concrete words. The evaluators did show that the easy text contained less formal language overall, but there was not a significant difference in the cohesiveness of the texts, which tells us that cohesive ties to help a reader connect ideas were similar in both versions. So what's the takeaway? The idea that easy versions of text improve comprehension for adolescents in reading was not supported by this study. The easy versions were only helpful for the far below average readers, but they did not increase overall comprehension over time. Although easy texts were easier in many ways, the adaptations did not benefit the comprehension of most readers. Text evaluators cannot account for student background knowledge. Students unfamiliar with a topic may need more details, not fewer, to understand abstract language and make inferences. Old and new text tools tend to approve removing complex language to increase comprehension, but this may in fact cause the opposite, missing the big picture of comprehensibility. Whether they were strong or weak readers and read easy or challenging texts, students benefited the most from the KWL approach. Activating knowledge before reading with whole class discussion may be vital to improving comprehension. An interesting side note that I found in the article was that teachers in the study mentioned giving fewer reading opportunities in class for below average readers, less discussion about text, and less independent reading time, whereas they gave more independent reading time and class discussion to honors classes. Some of the gains recorded in the study may have simply been a result of effective comprehension instruction below average readers don't normally receive. And a final quote that I liked was, "It may be time to think of text difficulty as a characteristic of the support offered around a text rather than the text itself." Thanks so much for watching this presentation. Here is the APA citation for the article. I highly recommend checking it out. There are also some QR codes if you're interested in learning more about ZPD or the different text evaluators.